Today we're looking at a film from 1997 called Wag the Dog, which some of my subscribers recommended that I review, in particular because the film explores the idea of political spin doctoring and the tactic of using the mainstream media to generate fake scandals to serve as distractions in order to drive public attention away from a genuine scandal, burying the truth under a mountain of lies. An elaborate and orchestrated hoax presented in the media as a cover-up to get public energy emotionally invested in something else entirely. The film was released in 1997 and was directed by Barry Levinson, written by Hilary Hennick and David Mamet, and it has a phenomenal all-star cast. Dustin Hoffman, Robert De Niro, Anne Hesh, Dennis Leary, Kirsten Dunst, Woody Harrelson, Andrea Martin, Willie Nelson, and William H. Macy. In this story, the American president is facing a serious sex scandal, and there's just 2 weeks to the election. So, expert spin doctor Conrad Breen, played by De Niro, is enlisted by the president's staff to come up with some kind of strategy to deal with this. He suggests distraction in order to prevent the media from running the sex scandal story. The president is currently in China, so Breen suggests they run a story saying the president is currently unwell to buy them some time, and it has nothing to do with a B-3 bomber. They ask, what B-3 bomber? Exactly. It's just designed to direct and keep the media tumbling down a rabbit hole of questioning until Breen can come up with a suitable ruse. Breen's plan is to change the story, change the lead, control the media narrative. And he suggests they fake a war in Albania in order to sufficiently distract from the scandal. He basically maintains the people will believe it because it's on the news. He tells the press office to lead with a denial about Albanian terrorist activity, despite there being no tensions or political conflict with Albania at present. Just begin to drip feed information to the media about denials regarding an Albanian conflict and a B-3 bomber, all designed, of course, to generate confusion and interest, thus enticing the media to follow up further and make them believe there's some potential for a military conflict with Albania. It's all just about creating misleading noise and hearsay to generate media speculation. Breen and the president's aide, Winifred Ames, go to meet a Hollywood producer named Stanley Motz, played by Dustin Hoffman. The film reminds me of something. There's a purported exchange of telegrams from 1897 between artist Frederick Remington and New York Journal publisher William Randolph Hearst. Now, Hearst had enlisted the services of Remington to go to Cuba and draw pictures of the rebellion there. Now, there's much debate between historians and scholars as to whether the conversation over telegrams actually took place, but the story goes a little something like this. Purportedly, Remington telegrammed a message to Hearst after about a month or so, saying that everything is quiet, there is no trouble here, there will be no war, I wish to return. To which Hearst supposedly replied, please remain, you furnish the pictures, and I'll furnish the war. As Breen tells Motz, war is show business. That's why they came to see him. Motz is recruited to create a theme of a fictitious war with Albania, a song, and some visuals for it. The performances of Hoffman and De Niro are phenomenal, very convincing. They have great on-screen chemistry. I especially like the scenes where they're just talking and brainstorming and riffing ideas. Motz suggests they should announce that America has just discovered Albanian terrorists have a suitcase bomb and they've placed it in Canada in an attempt to infiltrate the US. What's really wonderful about the character of Motz is that he really is the quintessential old-school Hollywood producer. He's a storyteller and a mover and shaker, and Hoffman plays the role to perfection. He considers the suitcase bomb story to be act one of a larger story, like a teaser. He wants to go further with the war story, adding layers to it. They decide upon a visual for the war, as almost all wars can be identified by an emotionally evocative singular image. They decide on a young orphan girl with a kitten in rubble. It's actually hilarious listening to them spitball ideas for the hoax, like they're making an actual movie. And their nonchalance about this and their cynicism actually just makes it more hilarious. The hoax catches on and the media run with the war story. The film is at its most satirical in the scene where they film the young Albanian orphan girl running through a war-torn city carrying a small kitten. Of course, she's not Albanian at all, she's American. And they go back and forth about what type of kitten it should be, and the president wants a white kitten. It's just the humor is really in how matter-of-fact and nonchalant they are about the whole thing. Everything seems to be going well until the CIA gets wind of the hoax. William H. Macy plays Charles Young. He tells both Ames and Breen that the NSA confirms there's no nuclear bomb in Canada or in Albania, and the Albanians have no such capacity for such a device, and no terrorist activity is going on there. There is, in fact, no war. Breen manages to bullshit Young into believing that the war story is necessary as a kind of a drill to help him keep his job in preparing for an actual war threat of nuclear terrorism. Motz and Johnny Dean put together the most schmaltzy, over-the-top propaganda song you've ever heard, which is also very hilarious. But there's a sudden roadblock for the team to deal with. The CIA, in conjunction with the president's rival candidate, announced that the war is over now. So now the team have to generate more spin because the media starts to return their focus to the original scandal regarding the president. So they create a new angle about a US soldier who was left behind enemy lines in Albania, and it's time to bring him home. Motz describes this character as being discarded like an old shoe, and so this inspires them to produce a ballad sung by the folk singer Johnny Dean called Old Shoe. And Dennis Leary's character, Fad King, finds a soldier named Shoeman, the perfect name to tie into the song, and they say that he had a nickname of Old Shoe. You can't help but get a kick out of the ingenuity of this entire project, orchestrated by Breen and the irrepressible and charismatic Motz, who relishes this hoax like he's working on the Oscar award-winning motion picture of his career. They contrive a story about this William Shoeman trapped behind enemy lines, and the song, The Good Old Shoe, is pressed onto an old vinyl and made to sound scratchy. They place it in the Library of Congress and file it under the year 1930 to make people believe the song is a forgotten classic from decades ago. How very Orwellian. They even devise some symbolism around Schumann. A manufactured movement made to look grassroots catches on throughout the country. In solidarity with Schumann, people start throwing old pairs of shoes around phone lines, trees, power lines, and traffic poles. This kind of stuff really makes you think about the power of media psyops throughout the years and how they've managed to successfully emotionally manipulate and propagandize the public into attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors that they think are their own, but are in fact something they've been conditioned into engaging in through repeated media messaging. And this can be especially effective when there's a feel-good factor element behind the propaganda. The next hilarious twist for them to deal with is that it turns out Schumann, played by Woody Harrelson, is a convict. Their plane back to Washington crashes, and Schumann gets shot dead when he tries to assault a gas station owner's daughter. So they have to scramble another nonsense cover story, staging a hero's funeral for him, claiming that he died from the wounds he suffered during the rescue attempt. The funeral is complete with a song dedicated to his fictitious squad, the 303. Motz is unhappy, and the media are claiming that the success of the president's re-election campaign is based on the cheesy and tired campaign slogan about how you don't change horses in midstream. Motz threatens to blow the lid on the whole hoax because the egotistic Hollywood movie producer in him craves recognition and credit for his hard work in all of it. To him, this was all art, and he's more proud of his work in the hoax than anything else he's ever done in his career. Breen tells him that he's playing with his life, but Motz says he wants the credit. They obviously can't allow Motz to go public, and so, with a nod to a Secret Service agent, it's clear that they're going to take Moss down, which is to say have him killed. After the pageantry for the fake hero Schumann, which captivated an entire nation, the campaign is now over. The president is back in the White House. He was successfully re-elected. And a news report explains how famed Hollywood producer Stanley R. Motz died of a massive heart attack while sunbathing poolside. Whether you see Wag the Dog as just political satire or not, it certainly presents a plausible story about political spin doctoring and manufactured media narratives in order to achieve a specific agenda, in this case, to distract from a bigger scandal and redirect and diffuse public attention and focus. It's a great movie, highly entertaining, with masterful performances throughout. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.